The sole purpose of this video is to provide a basic overview and orientation of your new apparatus. This video is not intended to act as or replace individualized driver-operator training. Individual fire departments may base guidelines, policies, and procedures tailored for best practices. Pierce Manufacturing and Hughes Fire Equipment representatives are not liable for injuries caused from acts resulting from actions inconsistent with the information provided within this video and/or accompanying manuals. Refer to the Operation and Maintenance Manual for complete details relating to the components and features of this apparatus. Only trained personnel should operate this vehicle or perform maintenance. You are responsible for learning how to operate this fire apparatus under all conditions without having to refer to the manual while operating at an emergency incident. This video will discuss types of warnings and caution labels. It is your responsibility to locate and identify each of the labels and understand the importance and associated hazards. Warning labels will point out procedure that must be taken or action that must be avoided to guard against the possibility of serious injury or death. Caution labels will advise you that there is a risk of damage to property if certain precautions are not followed. Continuous training, reviewing of operation and service manuals, developing good standardized practices will assist driver operators with a more complete understanding of the components and operation of this fire apparatus. As the driver operator of this vehicle, you are responsible for understanding the function of each component of the apparatus, maintaining control of the fire apparatus at all times while in operation. Make operational and functional changes while operating at an emergency without having to read operator's instructions or safety warning labels. Operate manual override and emergency shutdown procedures immediately if a component fails to operate properly. Components location may vary with each Pierce fire apparatus. Review the exact location of each component prior to operation. Major inconsistencies between your vehicle and the information contained in this video should be directed to your sales representative. Safe operation of any vehicle is the responsibility of the driver operator. You must learn the location and function of all controls, switches, gauges, valves, inlets, and discharges. Due to a higher center of gravity, heavy trucks have a significantly higher rollover tendency than other types of vehicles. To reduce the risk of rollover, avoid making sharp turns, excessive speed, and avoid abrupt maneuvers. In the event of a rollover crash, an unbelted person is significantly more likely to become injured or die than a person wearing a seatbelt. In the event of a crash, unbuckled occupants can also become a hazard to other occupants, as they may be thrown around inside the cab. Seatbelts are required while in operation. Please refer to your warranty certificates for details and information enclosed in your manuals. Customer-installed equipment must be mounted to withstand road travel and comply with NFPA 1901. Modifications such as drilling holes or welding to structural frame components of the chassis are not permitted. Contact Pierce for instruction and review of non-structural sheet metal or other dissimilar metals for modification. Follow the radio installation guide for further assistance on installing or mounting electronics. Before placing your new apparatus into service, perform a primary inspection of key components of the apparatus, including all fluid levels, anti-lock braking systems, electronic stability control, and automatic traction control. Weigh your apparatus to ensure that it conforms to axle and brake ratings. Never exceed the gross axle rating printed on the label inside the cab. Exceeding these ratings could lead to reduced component life, personal injury, or death. Review the use of auxiliary braking systems, compression brake, exhaust brake, electronic retarder, and hydraulic retarder. Before placing the apparatus in service, refer to the operational maintenance manuals. Information on the operation and maintenance functions for the components such as the pump, pressure governor, and foam systems, along with other options, is provided in either the Pierce manuals and/or other manufacturer support information delivered with the apparatus. If you need more information, please contact Hughes Fire Equipment. Congratulations, Benton County Rural Fire Protection District 1, Washington, on your new Pierce fire apparatus, job number 38659. Please utilize this 5-digit job number when referencing your apparatus with Hughes Fire Equipment and Pierce Manufacturing. We'll get started on a brief orientation of your new apparatus. Let's start at the very top with your emergency warning light bar. Also within this area, you'll find your 5 identification clearance lights located across the roof line. On the very top section, emergency warning light, and within inside that emergency warning light is where you'll find your Opticom forward facing. Let's move down to the front bumper. We'll start down in the lower corner with your tow hooks. These are 6,000-pound direct pull and are not intended for towing purposes. They are open-ended on both the passenger and driver side. In the center, electronic siren and PA speaker. On the driver's side face, you'll find your mechanical siren. Moving up onto the bumper extension, D-handle gains you access into the front storage location for your front bumper load. Also, you'll find a swivel discharge located on the driver's side. Moving up onto the cab face, you'll find your headlights housing a low and high beam headlight and marker turn indicator. On the outer edge, you'll find an emergency warning light. Located within the grille, you'll find emergency warning lights forward facing. Let's take a look at some close-ups of those things that we just talked about. These are the open-ended tow hooks. Moving toward the center, electronic siren and PA speaker. Moving over to the driver's side, you'll find your mechanical siren. And up onto the bumper extension, D-handle gains you access into this space. There is also a cutout on the opposite side for the hose load to go to and pre-connect to the swivel discharge. Let's move to the grille section next, where you'll find your emergency warning lights, both on the driver and passenger side. In the very center, the Pierce logo. Headlight structure, once again housing low and high beam headlight, turn indicator, and marker light. On the outer edge, this is the emergency warning light, lower zone. Up onto the hood area where you'll find the air inlet. This is on the driver's side. On top of the fender, you'll find your turn indicator marker light. As we move to the rear of the fender, you'll find the release mechanism to gain access into the engine space. As we move to the front axle, you'll find Michelin tires and Alcoa wheel. General view here of the cab section. We do have steps located at each door area. Moving up, you'll find the silver cap, which is your ultra low sulfur diesel fill location. Right next to that is the blue cap, which is your DEF fill location. Moving to the front headlight structure, right next to that is the marker turn indicator. And then also you'll find your turn signal. Moving now to the air inlet. To the rear of the fender, where you'll find the release for gaining access into the hood. There's also one on the passenger side. Easily accessible with a gloved hand. These are your door lock and latch. They are keyed. Right next to that is the grab handle for maintaining 3 points of entry. And then as we move up to the mirror area, you'll find a flat and convex mirror on the bracket. And then just moving downward, we've got a close-up here of the driver's side step, which contains the fuel and also location for your DEF fill. Let's move inside the cab, where you'll find affixed to the door panel all of our safety and warning placard information. Also, you'll find your door latch, manual window controls, and at the very top section, you'll find a grab handle and then also the release for your door lock. Up on the top section of the door panel is where you'll find your mirror control for the left and right mirror. Let's move into the space of the operator, where you'll find at the floor level your master battery switch. Also, this yellow placard, which we'll go over in just a few moments, and then also seat control for air ride, and also front adjust for front and back. Let's take a look at a close-up here. This is your master battery switch, quarter turn, and then we'll move to the yellow placard. This is information about your vehicle for the date of manufacture, 5-digit job number, gross vehicle weight rating, and cold tire inflation. This also has all of the fluid capacities for each component, fluid capacity, and also fluid type. At the very bottom, it'll find the VIN number. As we move into the space, you'll find at the floorboard a mechanical siren foot pedal. As we move to the dash itself, this is a keyed ignition on the left-hand side of the steering column. And at the very top, you'll find this yellow placard indicating information regarding your vehicle for the height of the vehicle, 10 feet 11 inches, length of your vehicle, 29 feet 11 inches, gross vehicle weight rating is 43,000 pounds. If you make any changes that may affect any of these outcomes, please update this placard. Moving to the dash area, we'll start at the top with the filter minder. This is the air filter for your engine. Just moving down is the Allison transmission pad. It's a digital push button. Moving just to the right, you'll find the DEF and interaxle lock. Just down from that, low, high range, all-wheel drive. Moving to the right, you'll find your pull to apply your system parking brake and push to release. This is the yellow diamond, which controls the rear spring brakes. Just underneath that, this is your water level gauge indicator. In the gray module, I've got a close-up of this area. This is for your PTO, and we'll go over that in just a few moments. And then also a close-up of the next area, which is a set of switches, and we'll go over that in just a moment. Let's start first with the upper section where you push and hold to disengage your pump for the PTO. Also indicator for OK to pump and OK to pump in motion. Just down from that, the high idle and OK to engage the high idle, door open indicator, and also system fault indicator. Just below that, we do have some additional switches for Opticom, siren, horn selector, driver scene, deck, passenger scene, and mirror heat. As we move to the center console, you'll find these red and white labels indicating spare wiring. Please do not remove until your maintenance team has had an opportunity to review. Mapbook storage location to the rear portion. We're on to the officer side where you'll find a push button for the siren brake and mechanical siren activation. Also, you'll find just in front of the dash area a digital readout for pump pressure. As we move to the overhead section in the center in the gray module, you'll find your emergency master, roof light, front warning, side warning, lower rear warning, upper rear warning, and load manager. When any of these switches have been activated, the light will illuminate on the outer edge of the switch, indicating that it is on. As we move to the right, you'll find your siren control and PA speaker system. In the lower section, you'll find this red flashing light indicating that you may have a door or compartment open and not to move your apparatus. Underneath that is your monitor for your backup camera system. Let's go ahead and go back to the exterior of the vehicle. As we move down, you'll find the rear portion entry for your cab. There is also an access panel located here. Lift and turn latch will gain you access into this space. This is the storage location for your chassis batteries. Also a fixed to door panel, safety and warning placard information, door lock and latch, manual window control, grab handle located on the inside, and then two forward-facing seats that do house SCBAs. Let's move back to the exterior of the vehicle. And we'll start with the front section where you'll find the crosslays. Located within this space, you'll find netting for your crosslays for securing the crosslay in position. There are two crosslays located here, and also the activation for your deluge discharge. There's located a valve here. As we move to the crosslays, they are independently labeled crosslay 1 and crosslay 2. Both of these are foam capable. As we move to the vertical surface, you'll find a pole light. Down at the very bottom, we'll start with the outward or exterior portion of the pump panel. At the very top, you'll find your large diameter passenger side discharge, along with the number 2 passenger side discharge gauges, in addition with number 1 discharge and number 3 discharge. Located on this side, we have a 2.5-inch discharge, driver's side number 1, and also driver's side number 3, also 2.5-inch discharge. You'll also find your large diameter pump inlet, and as we move just to the right, you'll find the driver's side auxiliary inlet. This is a 2.5-inch female, locally controlled at the ball valve. All of our color-coded and labeled drains are located across the very bottom section of the pump panel. We do have a lift and turn access panel here. Once you gain access into this space, this is your relief valve, and that is the setting screw for that relief valve. Also at the very bottom, all of our foam pump intake drain and foam pump discharge drains. All compartments open within this area of the body section. Let's go ahead and take a look inside those compartments. First, the very front section is your pump panel, located within this side on the vertical wall at the very top section. You'll find an OK2 pump indicator. It's a green indicator, along with on the very far right an audible speaker. Also, system instructions here for your Husky Foam System 3 specifications and instructions. Husky 3 foam module, instructions for its operation on the placard. Driver's side scene lights, and then also your pump boss, which is your pressure throttle governor. At the very top, we have a water tank level indicator and also a foam level indicator. Master gauges for pump intake and pump discharge. At the very bottom, you'll find the vacuum and pressure test gauge ports, and they are currently plugged and are utilized for testing purposes. We do have crosslay 1, crosslay 2, and then also the pre-connect. A placard located here indicating the minimum operation pressures for 150, 200, and 250 psi. At test pressure, you'll find the associated RPM and GPM with each one of those. This is part of your NFPA pump test. Moving down and to the left, you'll find the tank to pump and tank refill recirculating line. Let's move just to the right, where you'll find additional discharge valves. Engine cooler. This is a twist, not a pull. Fire pump primer, push to prime, air prime. For best practice, at least 1,000 RPMs when conducting a prime. Also, across the very bottom, all of our color-coded and labeled discharge drains. There are also some access panels located in the very bottom section. There are 2 located here. Let's go ahead and take a look inside the pump panel access, where you'll find your foam fill operation valve. It's the yellow handle. It should match whatever directions you are on the left-hand side of the back of the door. As we move down to the very bottom, you'll find a warning placard indicating foam failure. Do not mix different brands or consistencies of foam for the possibility of foam failure. Also, the draft tank lever position, and at the very bottom, the tank fill access. Overwheel compartment, we have a tool board. D-handle gains you access. There is a lock on the hinge side to release, lift, and restore. As we move through the rest of the compartments, in front of the rear axle, you'll find SCBA bottle storage, trigger latch style, gaining access into the bottle location storage. Just underneath that, you'll find a marker turn indicator light. This is just in front of the rear axle. And then also an air inlet, auto eject. Moving further down in this space is where you'll find your shoreline inlet. It is a 20 amp auto eject plug. And directly over the rear axle, you'll find the lower zone emergency warning light. To the rear of the axle, additional SCBA bottle storage location. Let's go ahead and move just below the body section here, where you'll find your mud flaps and also Michelin tires, Alcoa wheel. To the rear of that is also the location for your folding wheel chock storage location. There are 2 located within this space. As we move to the very rear compartment, in the very lower section, you have a pull-out tray, floor-mounted. The release mechanism for this tray is located on the lower right-hand side of the tray. At the very top section, you have an adjustable shelf. We'll move around now to the rear of the apparatus, identify a few items within this space. First, let's start at the very top section of the body, where you'll find your drafting tubes, one on the passenger and driver's side, emergency warning light on a dome, and then also a rear-facing scene light, adjustable with a handle for adjustment. You'll also find warning placards here regarding fall hazard, never ride on the vehicle while it's in motion, and also fall, always face the vehicle while climbing on or off the vehicle. As we move down, we do have your deck light inside a cupped switch. As we move to the left, you'll find additional steps and emergency warning lighting. Down to the very bottom, a brake, turn, and reverse light. Moving just underneath, you have a pull-out step just under the tailboard. Let's move back up to the top of the apparatus, where you'll find an additional step area with lighting. Hose bed dividers across the center. There are 3 located here. They are movable, and also your backup camera recessed located in the center. As we move to the roll-up compartment door, you have an adjustable shelf. Also, lift and turn latch will gain you access into your ladder storage, 10-foot folding, and also pike pole storage. 2.5-inch discharge located on the driver's side. Warning here regarding pressure hazard, caps may be under pressure, be cautious when opening them. Also a warning, because of those lines coming from aloft, there is the possibility of an entanglement hazard. As we move down to the passenger side, brake, turn, and reverse light. Now as we move around to the passenger side of the vehicle, let's start at the very top section. For the most part, same configuration and layout with a rear-facing scene light, emergency warning light dome, and then also access here to your rigid drafting tubes. To the rear section of the body, you'll find your exhaust located in the front rear area of the axle. All compartments open. Let's go ahead and start at the rear and we'll move through. At the very top section within the rear compartment, you'll find shoreline power, adjustable shelf, and then also in the lower section, a tray that does pull out. As we move to the tray in the lower section, the release mechanism for this tray is located on the lower right-hand side. It will lock into position. As we move under the vehicle, you'll find your mud flaps. Now moving into the over wheel compartment, where you'll find an adjustable tray. To the rear of the axle, SCBA bottle storage location. There are retaining straps on each side of the SCBA bottle storage location. Over wheel, same as the driver's side, lower zone emergency warning light. Michelin tires and Alcoa wheel. As we move forward to this location, SCBA bottle storage with retaining strap inside this space. And then also just below that is the marker turn indicator light. This is also the general location of the exhaust. There are extremely hot diesel exhaust temperatures that do exist, especially during regen operation. Please be cautious where you park your vehicle when conducting a regeneration. As we move to the next compartment in the upper portion is where you'll find your battery charger. When plugged into shoreline power, this will activate along with the outlets right next to each other. Moving down, we have a pull-out and tilt downward tray, both release mechanism for this on the right and also on the left side. Down in the lower section, you'll find a pull-out tray. Once again, release is located on the lower right-hand side, and it will lock into position. To release, simply push and return to storage. Onto the pull light on the exterior side. Back to the crosslay, where you'll find the crosslay 1 and crosslay 2, once again foam capable. As we move to the lower section on the vertical surface, this is the passenger side scene light switch in a cupped switch on the vertical surface. As we move to the pump panel, at the very top you'll find a 2.5-inch discharge. Just underneath this location is an additional 2.5-inch discharge. And then as we move further down, you'll find the passenger side auxiliary inlet, locally controlled via a ball valve, female coupling. The Pierce logo American flag eagle is the large diameter pump inlet on the passenger side. And across the very bottom section is all of our color-coded and labeled discharge drains. Let's move forward now into the cab section area. We'll start at the rear portion of the crew cab area, starting first with the door panel. Affixed to the door panel are safety and warning placard information, door lock and latch, and window control. Grab handle to gain access inside, one also on the exterior. As we move inside this space, you'll find storage location just under the rear seats. As we move in, this is the rear portion of the officer seats, highlighting the SCBA bracket. To two forward-facing seats at the rear also house SCBA brackets. As we move to the exterior, two D handles will gain you access into this space. It is a locked compartment. There is additional storage and then also a pull-out tray. The release mechanism for this tray is located on the upper right-hand side of the tray itself. It will also lock into position when it's fully extended. To release, simply push the lever and return to storage. Over the officer seat door is where you'll find a downward-facing mirror, convexed. Also a flat and convex mirror on the A-pillar of the door. We're now into the officer space next, where you'll find easily accessible with a gloved hand, your door lock and latch, and a grab handle right next to it. Also affixed to the door panel are safety and warning placard information, manual window controls, and also door lock and grab handle. Moving inside to this space also, you'll find an adjustable seat and also comfort ride, meaning air ride control. SCBA bracket located in the very rear section of the seat. Moving now overhead of the officer's space, this is where you'll find seatbelt information, red indicating someone is in the seat and not seat belted, green they are in the seat and belted. This is the step access going inside to the officer's space. As we move to the front fender at the rear portion, this is the release mechanism for gaining access into the engine area. Also on the top of the fender is where you'll find your marker turn indicator light. Moving just forward to this location is your front wheel, Alcoa wheel, and Michelin tire. Moving up to the forward portion, you'll find a side-facing emergency warning light. This is right next to the headlight structure, housing your low and high beam headlight and also turn indicator. General view of the vehicle here. Congratulations, Benton County Rural Fire Protection District Number 1, Washington, on your new Pierce fire apparatus. If you have any questions regarding your vehicle, please contact your Hughes Fire sales representative. Thank you and congratulations.